Hey everybody! On today's episode, we're going to do a bread pudding. This is going to be an Acadian styled one, like the way my grandmother used to make it. It's very economical. You don't need a lot of equipment. Somebody contacted me and said, "Oh, I'm desperate for a dessert. I need to make something, and all I got is stale bread in the house and a bit of booze." And no problem. Very easy, pretty tasty, and you can do it in 1 hour. Let's check it out. And in today's episode, we're going to do a basic bread pudding. To start off with, we're going to need about 300 grams of dry bread. It's roughly 2 cups worth. We're also going to need 2 eggs, about 110 grams of brown sugar, nice and tightly packed, full of flavor, one of my favorites. We're also going to need 300 mils of milk. This is so we can soften the bread up a bit. And for additional flavors, I'm adding 1 apple and about 60 mils of Irish cream liquor and some melted butter, 30 grams. Now here's how we put it together. First, we're going to chop up our stale bread into big cubes. Now be careful when you're slicing this bread because it has a tendency to crack, your knife could slip. So just remember, chop it up into big uniform pieces and it should work out fine. Things that look something like this in size. Anyways, here it is, all chopped up. Then we take our milk and we put it into a saucepan and we're going to scald the milk. Get it up to a good heat. And then from that point, we're going to start chopping up our apple. Now once we've done chopping our apple, we're getting on to business. We take our hot milk and we pour it over our dried bread, which we've put in a bowl. This helps soften up the bread and ensure that there's no scorching of the bread in the oven, because you don't want charcoal. You just want nice, gently heated through bits of bread and sugar and all that goodness. Next step is we make sure that all the bread is coated, no dry bits. So we stir it around in that bowl, make sure everything gets a little bit of milk all over. Next, what we're going to do in another bowl is we're going to put our eggs in there and we're going to slowly start to whisk it. Now we don't want to incorporate air, we just want to break up the curd. So be gentle when you whisk and it should look a little bit like this. Everything's broken down, it's ready to go. Then from there, we add our sugar to the eggs. Then we're going to add a bit of salt here, just to taste, but I'd say maybe about a gram and a half. Then from there, we add our melted butter and we continue whisking. Just want to make sure that the sugar all dissolves in there with all the other things. And then from this point, we're going to add a bit of flavoring too. So I'm adding about 2.5 mils of vanilla and our Irish cream liquor. It's going to get in there, give it a nice sweetness and a creaminess. And then we continue whisking for a little bit. And we take this and we add it to our bread mixture. Pour it all in there. Let it combine with the milk and the bread. And this in turn forms a sort of custard. And finally we add our chopped up apple. And as another addition, we had some frozen blueberries. My grandmother did it, so I'm doing it. And then we continue mixing. Next, we have a prepared pan, which I've buttered all around the outside, so make sure nothing sticks to it. After all, this is a custard base and they have a tendency to get sticky, so butter everything. And then we pour our mixture right into the pan. Make sure you spread it out evenly. All the flavors are everywhere. And then we're pretty much ready to put it into the oven. Very economical and no equipment required. So we have it in a 350 degree oven for about an hour and it comes out looking like this. It's a very moist, wonderful dessert with texture, a bit of crunch, a bit of softness, lots of fruity flavor. And I'm finishing it off with some maple syrup. Now traditionally my grandmother would use molasses, but I don't live in that neck of the woods, so I'm using maple syrup. A little extra sweetness to it really adds. Anyways, try it out. You won't be disappointed. Cheers, everybody.